Welcome back to our podcast channel where we discuss everything sales. I'm your host Cassandra Broughton, and today I have Steve Clemens with me, CEO, and Dave Pereira, COO. How do you recruit good salespeople or new salespeople?
That's a good question, Cassandra. If they're cheap and they've got big boobs, then generally they're okay.
Steve's saying that, but I want to tell a story quickly. Because I actually told the story yesterday. There's a company here, I don't know if I want to mention the name of the company.
No.
Okay. So there's a company in South Africa at the moment where Steve and I went to go and visit the offices, and their whole salespeople were literally tall, blonde, big boob women. Literally, the whole sales team. Wow. And they worked. It worked for them. So it's not the worst approach that you can take. Yeah, it's not the worst approach. It's not the only approach. We've actually seen it a few times. Companies have done
there was a company that I knew well, and this guy, all he did, he's in the technology space, and he hired good-looking, tall women, and that's who he sold to. Because we think of his target audience, and I'm talking 15 years ago. I mean, your target audience was middle-aged, Afrikaans, CIO level guys. And so a whole bunch of young girls, and they prance her up. Perfect. Anyway, and very successful.
So that's not what we do, but yes, that is what some people do.
Yeah. So I don't. So the way I always look at it is that we will do the normal recruiting process. Go out there, throw out the net, say we're looking for people to do a very specific job, be it a sort of a call center type of salesperson or an senior account manager, whatever it is. And more than CV, more than the conversation that we have with that person, is how they follow up on the actual interview. So we're gonna and preparation for the interview. So two things: the prep for the interview. What preparation? What do you know about our business? What do you know about our market? How did you prepare for this interview? It's the first question, and the most critical way that they answer it. And the second is, how do they follow up? It's like weird that our best salespeople in our company all almost exclusively have one common trait. Post the interview, the next day or the day after that, hi guys, Senior, how did the interview go? Have you given it some thought? Am I in with a chance? And those are the people that have inevitably turned out to be the good people. The people who you just don't hear from again, where you have to get back to them and, oh, listen, won't you, what's the follow-up that we're going to have or whatever, inevitably fail. It's like weird. If you can't sell yourself, you are definitely not going to be able to sell your products, our products.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I mean, we even go so far as to say in the meeting, we value the follow-up, like we hint. We say, follow up with us. Yeah. A person that was very good with you is the person controlling the camera today. And it was one of the reasons why Steve said that Kevin should be in the company is because of how much he was following up with Steve. And it's maybe not the best thing about sales, but it's a big thing about sales is the fact that you need to follow up your perseverance. Perseverance is a big aspect of it.
Okay, so you're basically showing you guys, if you're going to employ someone, that you have the guts, I guess, to say that, okay, I'll take the chance and just phone you guys and chat.
Sales takes guts. I'm telling you it does.
Yeah.
You cannot, you're going to lose 6 deals and you're going to win 2. And if you can't live with a rejection, not your place to be, first of all. Second of all, you have to keep yourself top of mind with your customers. And if you can't keep yourself top of mind during the interview process, and you haven't learned even that basic skill, you're not going to cut it. So that's one dynamic. The other is education. When Dave first joined the business and so on, and he was putting together job specifications, one of the very key lines that he put in there is he's looking for people with a degree. A degree doesn't show intelligence. It shows more commitment and perseverance, because it's about working hard and doggedly and so on. And so is there a measure in the sales environment? Yes, no. That's actually for debate, you know what I mean? Because some people could say, if you're prepared to persevere through 5 years of education to get your degree, will you persevere through a deal? In my opinion, I would rather choose people who have the right. You cannot teach ambition. You cannot teach attitude. There are few dynamics in sales that are critical, that have nothing to do with education. So in fact, I even take quite a shallow look at CVs. I'm less interested in background and education and more about how that person converses with you. You know what I mean? And people need to have done their little bit of homework to be able to have a decent, sensible conversation with you.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with that. I don't have much more to add over there.
Yeah, so it's all about, and by the way, how you conduct yourself during that interview. Also, it's absolutely critical. I mean, we've had guys who, I mean, they're ridiculous. I mean, I've had a guy who come in for an interview, you know, and talk to him, and you say to him, well, you know, what do you think of this? And he sits there and goes, and I think, I wouldn't buy shoelaces from you, bud. You know what I mean? You're so weak and ineffectual. So you need to be a more assertive personality, you know, with the ability to get out there and, what's the right word? It's initiative. Yes, you've got to have initiative. You know, if I look at our most successful in the SDR, it's guys who've shown a lot of initiative, who are coming up with ideas all the time. This is not working. You know what I mean? Can we try this? Can we try that? That's initiative. So initiative plus ambition equals success, in my opinion. So if you're going to be recruiting salespeople, physical, you know, it means nothing. Beyond physical is the message, are we adding value, and being able to convey messages and speak in a to be able to articulate what you're selling in a compelling way. Do you know that there's actually a skill in that? And it's not a skill you can teach. It's an inherent skill that people have. Weirdly, when we recruit, I also say the last thing you want to do is choose 5 Davids. Don't do that. You need diversity in your sales team. We've recruited guys that, for example, into sales that came from a strong HR background. Think about it. And afterwards, once you've evaluated their performance, you find out that they're successful, not because they talk, but because they listen. And they're very good listeners. So yeah, recruiting people is difficult, but I do definitely look for people who are, you know, persuasive and I'm not just going to give up. And that makes a success. There's people who persevere, you know, and who can deal with a bit of a couple of knocks. You know, if you're going to have somebody who's going to lose a deal and become more fragile, and we have to have a counselling session and all of that, not going to be good. You know,
we've had that as well.
We've had that too.
It fell apart. I mean, you need to be able to lose deals. Obviously, it's not what we want, but what you always say, you must have 10 deals in the pipeline, you only need 2 to land to sometimes hit quota. So,
yeah.
So then, would you say that it's also a good thing to have someone young who's willing to learn in the business, not necessarily having someone who's maybe a bit older with a bunch of degrees and stuff? But do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I'll answer that one actually.
Okay.
So it depends on what you're selling. And not only what you're selling, but who your target audience is. So we have a case in question at the moment. Say you're selling RPA, robotic process automation. And you think of the profile of people who are buying RPA. It's going to be young, dynamic guys who are agile, who are thinking about how, you know, business improvement and performance and all of that. Match that with a young guy who's ambitious and out there and knowledgeable and all that, or a young person. Then you look at things like we do one of the products that we take to market is big solar systems for sectional title. Think about who your target audience is. Who runs these big sectional title estates and things like that? The body corporate. Who's the body corporate makeup? Of a whole bunch of old guys who are either retired or semi-retired. Now some young guy runs in there and he's going to be Mr. Charming, and he's going to have no credibility. So hire an older guy, bit of grey hair on his head, who can converse on an equal level with them, and you can get success. So it's a good question, young or old. It depends on what you're selling and who your target audience is that dictates that.
Okay.
So I mean, if we put it back to going down even a further point to what Steve was saying, it's also the cultural makeup of it. So we've seen it. When you walk into a room, you need to relate to the person across the table. And how are you going to relate to the person across the table? And we try to see that. So we try, we're looking at our new companies that we're bringing on, and we're actually looking at them like, I don't know if that specific individual is going to actually get along with the target audience. Like, I don't know if that's going to be the right match, because unfortunately perception counts, and you need to have a certain level of getting along with someone. And if you're not going to have that level of personal relations with each other, you're always going to be fighting an uphill battle.
Yeah,
so it's an interesting one, but it's true. Very
but it's
true.
also why when recruiting that you don't choose 5 of the same personalities.
Correct,
And if you have a mature sales team, what we've seen in the past is when you have a mature sales team and the guys are able to get back to the office and say, you know what, I met with this guy Tom. Tom's an older guy. Stuart, I really think you would relate better with this guy. Do you mind? Can I hand this one over to you? Or hey, listen, I got to this company and there's a whole bunch of young people and they super dynamic, super noisy, all of that. They think I'm some old fart. Can I please hand this one over again? You need to be able to do that. And that carries all the way through the business. I mean, Dave and I have often had where we'll go, we the guys, we're out in the field and we're seeing customers. And I'll come back and I'll say, Dave, you take this one. This guy's a young guy, he's full of shit, and I think you need to handle this one. And equally, Dave will come to me and say, you know what, Steve, we needed grey hair in the room, so you need to. But that's so don't, when you're recruiting, don't recruit,
especially for sales,
one dimension.
Especially for sales.
No, and we're talking about the sales recruitment job.
No.
So don't do one-dimensional sales recruiting. You know what I mean?
Do you also find though that you look at their personality to see that it will match everyone else's personality in the room as well?
Culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're starting to realize, as we're getting bigger, we're starting to realize how important that is. Because, I mean, you've seen. Yeah. It's one thing that, we are predominantly men in our company. It's something we probably need to fix. But we do have, it is a boys' club type of environment that we run at least. And I think if you go into different environments, you do need to get that, because we've had people in here that didn't fit into our culture, and you can see it immediately. Because it's friendly, and in other companies it's more serious. In other companies you need to be miserable to work there because everyone else is miserable.
That's true. Yeah.
See, so I think it's it's important, and it's very difficult to try. Actually, it's not. We're quite good at that. When we hiring someone, it's like, will you fit in? Yeah, I think you'll fit in. Yeah. Cool, join us. Let's go.
But again, I'll think about this one then while you're saying that. So think about the older gent that we recently recruited to do the power. That culturally is very different to everybody else, but he's there to serve a very specific purpose. Role. So yes, the team dynamics is important.
That's also the role.
No, but it's more. But the role is more important than that. You know what I mean? So it's actually it's not a single yes no answer. Yeah. It actually does depend on a couple of different dynamics.
Cool. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks,
Hopefully
everybody.
you watch this podcast and the others. See you soon.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. Bye.